Are you a peak manga enjoyer like myself? If so, chances are you probably know who Inoue Takehiko is. No? Well, you probably know what Vagabond is. And Inoue is this masterpiece's mangaka. But what you might not know is that his protege actually came up with a story that might be just as good or even better. Kingdom, a historical fiction based on the Warring States period of ancient China, written by none other than Inoue's protege, Yasuhisa Hara. Whether you're a Kingdom fan or a Vagabond fan, you're most likely surprised. Either you are like me and are a Kingdom enjoyer, and just found out that Hara was mentored by Inoue, which literally makes everything Hara has done make so much sense. Or you're a Vagabond enjoyer that might now give Kingdom a chance, because you didn't know its mangaka had the luxury of learning under such a legendary one like Inoue. Before we dive deeper into their relationship and its contribution to Kingdom's greatness, it's important to explore Hara's manga journey. It is said that since elementary school, Hara always had a reputation for being gifted at drawing. One of his favorite things to sketch were pictures of Kinnikuman, a manga series published back in 1979, following a superhero that must win a wrestling tournament to retain his title as prince. His friends at school would line up just to see these drawings, treating him like a famous author at a book signing, and excitedly ask him to draw more. At this time, Hara did not think it possible for drawing to be a profession, though it was also at this time that he built up a deep love for all things manga, with Shonen Jump being a must-buy every week, in which he would read every page corner to corner. Apparently, according to Hara himself, he said that Kingdom often has the vibe of old school Jump, which is very interesting and can explain many things for many people. It was during Hara's time at school that he became fascinated by historical dramas and manga, which naturally led to interest in the history in which Kingdom is based on. This is school done. Upon graduating from high school and influenced by a love for movies as much as manga, Hara decided that he wanted to become a film director and enrolled in the Kyushu Institute of Design. This is where he came to thoroughly love crafting stories. You know how they say it takes 10,000 hours to master something? Well, Hara is said to have created over 100 stories, whether these were film, manga, or less expected, novels. It might be safe to say this is maybe why Kingdom is as great as it is. However, the institute that he chose to join was heavily art focused, and so Hara began to feel that making a living as a film director could be too challenging. It was near his third year in college now that a realization struck him. Movies require all these sets, lighting, and an entire team, but manga, maybe he could do that by himself. With what could be fate at this point, if you will, his aspirations turned into becoming a manga artist. The performance or the role of the actors he could fulfill on his own. The script he could fulfill on his own. The drawing he could fulfill on his own. It was then in 1997, roughly a year after he began giving an honest and real attempt at drawing manga, he wrote a piece, Ueda-kun's Theory of Degeneration. This went on to earn Hara his very first award, the Encouragement Award in the Young category of the 36th Chiba Tetsuya Award. This is nothing to brush over. It's not like it's a ribbon for winning first place in the elementary school sports carnival. Tetsuya Chiba is someone considered to be a major figure in all the history of manga, and this award is named after him. As a result, a win of this degree made Hara feel like the profession as a manga artist was actually in his grip. It is possible. This concludes his time at normal college. His journey only gets more exhilarating. In 1999, Hara continued to create manga while studying programming at postgraduate school. It was during this time that he wrote a piece named Otomatsu, which won him yet another award, though it was a runner-up prize in the young category of the 40th Chiba Tetsuya Award. This is the best part. It was published in Besatsu Young magazine, officially marking Hara's debut as a manga artist. Awesome. It's always cool to see the origin story. Hara kept on drawing one shot after one shot with the goal of serialization, but alas, this never came to fruition. Therefore, he decided following postgraduate school, he would enter corporate work as a systems engineer. You might be thinking it is pointless to learn about Hara's time as a systems engineer. Stay with me, trust. At the company he joined, Hara was assigned to one of several small teams. His time working within these small small teams taught Hara that each team had its own set of roles, but it all functioned naturally, with each part contributing to the overall process. This might have been the mutual competition between team members, the passionate movements of each individual, or witnessing team leaders challenging those above them. Hara attributes this dynamic culture as a significant influence on the depiction of Go, or in other words, working in a squad of 5. This was introduced in Shin's first campaign in KO, and is supposedly a famous Shin battle tactic. The more you know. Now you know one reason why Hara's experience as a systems engineer, or more so working in a company, is relevant, and even I would go as far as essential, as Hara himself apparently said that he couldn't have drawn Kingdom without it. Hara stayed here for 3 years. During these 3 years were a plethora of good and bad times, naturally. The same seniors that scolded him loved him just as much, and he learned so much from the same guys. Without this experience, Hara wouldn't have been able to depict the rough and makeshift nature of the Heishin unit, only showing how cool they look on the outside. Though this experience was irreplaceable, Hara's desire to draw manga and engage with it properly only kept on growing. So, in 2003, at the prime age of 27, Hara resigned and decided to give the career as a manga artist an honest try. It was no longer enough to draw manga whenever he had time, which he didn't. Now that Hara has all the time in the world, he started doing what any person with a real dream would do, everything he could. He entered magazine competitions. He kept on creating several manga pieces. He even submitted work to 12 publishers. His hard work paid off. He got what I assume many aspiring manga artists dream about. His work was recognized by not only Young Jump, but Shonen magazine also. Hara, though, as we know, decided to work towards eventual serialization in Young Jump. Now, deeper into 2003, Hara again won the Encouragement Award, but this time at the 23rd Young Jump Manga Grand Prix with Heart to Sen, his latest piece. It is a fantasy story set during the spring and autumn period of ancient China, the period right before the time Kingdom is set in, the Warring States. Finally, we get into Kingdom's origin story. At this point, Hara is still writing Kingdom as a series of one-shots, and he thought Sei would be the main character while Shin would be part of the supporting cast. However, Hara began to feel that the story might focus too much on the royal court and take away from the exploration of the front lines and battles he wanted to depict the most. So the main character became the guy we all love today, Shin. Additionally, it was smart for him not to focus on the more generally known Three Kingdoms period, because it would have been way too restricted, and Hara himself wanted to be able to freely develop his story, which I can see and I love it. This was when Hara found comfort in the Shiji, otherwise known as the records of the Grand Historia. It provided minimal details, as in a few lines of description, so the story was very much left up to one's imagination. Perfect for Hara, and I've loved what he's done with the freedom. Yes, we know that eventually China will be unified and Shin will be the greatest general by this time, but how we get there is all up to Hara, and I am absolutely enjoying it. So I get it when Hara says he really appreciates the creative freedom to decide the untold aspects of history. With this came the birth of what we all know as Kingdom, and its story would be crafted with roots in the bits and pieces of the Shiji records, although Hara emphasizes structure, as in he meticulously reverse engineers what happens in history and plans how to build excitement while still aligning with the constraints. A clear example is Hara's decision to depict Kyokai as a female character, because apparently in the Shiji it is not distinctly mentioned their gender. It's okay though because she's hot. Oh, and Yotenwa is hot too, and also is supposedly narratively made into a female character. Moreover, Hara again uses his creative freedom to avoid creating a complete historical retelling, which I love, but a lot of people seem to dislike, saying stuff is unrealistic, but I think it's fiction. I mean, it's supposed to be fun. Hara's reasoning, and I agree, is that being too historical could create divides between the reader and the story. The compromise here is adding contemporary tweaks for certain costumes or structures. Thus, it was set to be serialized in weekly Young Jump. Alas, there was still one thing that Hara did not do, that I think most manga artists have gone through first, and that is being an assistant. So, at the editor's suggestion, Hara spent 4 months as an assistant to none other than Takehiko Inoue, the author of masterpieces like Slam Dunk and of course Vagabond. This was 4 months before the actual serialization of Kingdom. Later on, Hara would refer back to Inoue as a guiding figure in the world of manga, which is fitting, not only because many people love his work, but because Kingdom has ended up being amazing and also has garnered many fans. After this experience, at the age of 30, Kingdom would begin serializing in Weekly Young Jump. Hara did it. See, you're never too old to pursue any dream. You must be thinking all is sweet and Kingdom is the glorious manga it is today, but no, the plot thickens. Kingdom struggled to gain popularity in its early serialization, and it was no joke, even possibly scrapping the manga completely. So Hara, understanding the gravity of the situation, sought out his mentor Inoue, who gave a most peculiar piece of advice. He said to Hara that the story is interesting, which I absolutely agree with, but that Shin's eyes were too small. How funny, right? How could something as simple as the main character's eyes be so impactful? Hara's change of Shin's eyes ended up with Hara getting into his bag and modifying his whole art style. And as we all know today, Hara cooked and is cooking. Ultimately, this change in art allowed Kingdom to gain more and more popularity, going from last to consecutive firsts in reader surveys. Furthermore, it earned an anime in 2012, whose first season we will not be talking about, and won the manga grand prize at the 17th Tezuka Osamu Cultural Prize in 2013. This is a prestigious prize, seeing as series like Vagabond and Berserk also won in the past. Jump to the present day, and Kingdom has become the first seinen manga in the history of Shueisha to pass 100 million copies in circulation, all without an English translation. Man, if you made it to the end, thanks for tuning in. Let me know what you thought of Hara's manga journey in the comment section below, and whether you're a Kingdom or a Vagabond person. Did you enjoy this video? Check out my other videos. Be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to stay updated on my latest videos. I appreciate you guys.